Just need to find my way back to you. Got it. Hello and good morning. Welcome to this morning's meditation. As you all know who are here with me live, I am Rev Kari. For those of you who are finding me in the live stream, welcome, welcome. Okay, so a lot of threads to pull together today, and yet some uh, pretty 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 magical, pretty special, as I was reflecting on how we honor this transition into the Aquarian age today, with Pluto making its big move, if you will, because that's happening today. So we get to pin the energy today through this meditation. It was a really deep reflection for me on one, what the energy is that we get to sync up with, what we get to meta today, what meta we get to identify, and then how we apply it. And so to give us a context, for, if you haven't tracked with me before, and for those of you who have, I'm talking about this all the time. We have come through our Kali Yuga. I'm making a symbol here, trying to imply like a sine wave, the bottom half of a sine wave of having, I like to think of it as like dropping beneath the surface of the ocean. And we drop down, and for a period of time, like this deeper you sink in the water, you can still see the sun's rays coming through. But we know when we get down to the depths of the depths of the depths, it's all just darkness, right? There is no more sun's rays that can make their way through. And so too, that could be likened to our journey through the Kali Yuga, and the descending different ages of humanity as we came into carrying light, but also navigating the densest of the density. And so as we move out of the Piscean age into the Aquarian, we are re-emerging. We are starting to capture some of those rays of sunlight coming down into this world, into this dimensional realm. And on this backside of it, that is what, as we talk about moving into the Aquarian age, that's ultimately, what we're here to be connecting with, not only the higher frequency, but the light and the ways in which the light moves through our bodies and opens up dimensional reality. And I promise you, and I'm going to be speaking into this more as we navigate further into the next days, weeks, months, maybe even year to come, the new consciousness that gets to come with this. Like, we know we're moving into a new era, and it's all exciting and full of greater awarenesses. But the one piece that I think is starting to really land is this construct of how do we think? What is our mental infrastructure? What is our emotional infrastructure? What are the triggers and the expansion? It's not only is it going to be characteristic of AI and energy moving faster and technology and all things that are symbolic of the Aquarian era, but what is it going to actually start to build and create? And at the fundamental level, it's going to be new thought perspectives. And so today, in the midst of this beautiful Scorpio season with Pluto and all of it's Pluto is like the bomb that gets thrown down in the mine. And as it hits down on the bottom, it's like explosion. But what are they mining? We're usually mining for something, right? And if we're mining, we've found the golden nugget. We've hopefully found the light in the midst of all of the chaos and the destruction and the lessons learned. And it's very symbolic of the era of the Kali Yuga, of what many or some I'm starting to hear call the grit model. And so we get to look at the stories that have been told, the mythology, which, coming in here, I love to do. How do we recut the mythology and understand the stories that have been gifted to us through the perspective of the new lens, through the perspective of the modern, what is to come? How do we get our brains outside of the mental construct, not just our brain, but our mind and our thinking capacity outside of the mental construct? And that's where we arrive today. So with all of that big, long setup for what we're doing, Odin is going to be the Norse god that carries us across this portal. And Odin is symbolic in that it's the masculine, right? Obviously, a god. And also, Odin chose to harness the greater wisdom through death, through destruction. He's very symbolic of this journey that I just described that human consciousness has gone through for the last several thousand years, if not more, in learning the wisdom and the magic. And I think to survive it, we learned a lot of wrong patterns. We learned a lot of obviously suppression of the feminine, and not just women, but also our own inner intuitive selves. And mostly because we probably, yes, there was a lot of things behind that, but also because it was a mechanism for survival, right? The intuition wasn't as accessible as it is today. Even today, in this, compared to 6 months ago, like the shifts and the way we've been opening up has been moving so much greater and so much faster. And so our journey today is going to be with Odin. Odin's symbolism is the crow. So for those of you, we did Care to Win last week with the crow, and so it feels like a good common thread and inner vision into both the underworld and the light world, right? The darkness and the light. Odin chose to hang himself, kill himself on his spear, and then hang himself for 9 days from, I can't pronounce the names, Aristotle, which is the tree of life. And from that tree of life, we learn the new wisdom. And it was all to gain the knowledge and the wisdom of the runes, of fate, of destiny, of very similar to what is in Cardoin's story. What are the threads that are holding existence and consciousness together? And of course, we know Odin in the more modern terms of carrying us into or being the one who would grant access to Valhalla, and the warriors that were deemed worthy were allowed to spend their days, their remaining time, their soul's time in Valhalla. And the underworld wasn't seen as a space of death and destruction. It was seen as a place of glory. And it was because Odin brought this wisdom and this magic into that dimensional realm. So we're going to take this ride in to really understand the masculine as the masculine has learned to perceive and recognize the wisdom inherent in the feminine, inherent in the darkness, but also I think what is present as we start to go ahead and take a breath in, close your eyes. We're going to start to shift into the meditation now. But what is truly present here is that we have tens of thousands of years, at least, of writing of the story of the warrior, of the story of the masculine and feminine surviving and being our own inner warriors. The warrior is the archetype for 3D consciousness, for navigating the dimensional realm. And I think what all warriors have fought for, one of the greatest pieces that got missed over the last 7,000, I'm saying that, several thousand years, as I was discussing with a good friend and client yesterday, was that honoring of the feminine, right? Honoring of the feminine in tribute to as the battles were won and the deeds were done. So with that, that's where we're going. We're going into a nice deep honoring today. So as you continue to settle in, lick your lips, relax your jaw. I know we had a long intro, but it's a big chapter to close out, right? It's a big chapter that we're getting to make this transition through. And again, Scorpio season, life, death, rebirth. Odin is also a masculine god of life, death, and rebirth. So go ahead, roll your shoulders, licking your lips, relaxing your jaw. As you need to, roll your neck from side to side, wiggle the toes, make a fist and shake it out, just waking up the body. Nice big inhale and exhale. And let's do it again. Inhale and exhale as we begin with our light link, sending our consciousness up to the sun, up to the golden light, the promise of connection, the reminder, the ever-present reminder of the light, of the opportunity, of hope. And as we send now our prayers and our thoughts across that link to the golden light of the sun, let yourself feel your feet firmly planted in the earth. And notice where you're guided to as you imagine the sun flooding out to your vision and your feet anchoring you deep into the earth. And as you feel your feet anchoring you, begin to reflect and feel that sunlight as you focus on it externally. Let yourself feel it now, shifting to the internal. As we bring our awareness and our consciousness from the earth through our bones and the waters within our body into the heart. And we imagine the flame and the fire that is burning there. And as we take a jump outside of the box of consciousness, what if the sun were simply a mirror, a beautiful, brilliant, powerful mirror of the star and the sun burning inside of you? For this is the truth of our reality. We know we are dimensional beings made up of consciousness and light first, observing this incredible material world. So as you observe this light inside of you and allow your brain to shift into that construct, that the world as you imagine it, and have your eyes opened and label it reality as fixed matter, is in fact a projection, including the greater things, the mountains and the rivers and the trees and the sun. Your dream, your projection, a collective one, albeit, but a dream nevertheless. As you feel yourself drifting, swirling into that sun internally, just imagining spinning ever so gently, finding yourself immersing deeper and deeper into your own heart space, settling in to the heart, to the center of this light within you. And as you land, finding yourself sitting, maybe bowed, definitely relaxed, in a room with all white walls, all white, pure essence and energy of light, the center of your dream space, the center of where the projections for today and tomorrow, for the next moment, for the next breath begin. As you sit here, it's as though we can feel the earth spinning on its axis, much like being in the center maybe of what it would be like to be inside of an egg. And the earth and its brilliant crust and being our shell, and this brilliant white light, the yolk at the center. We are, you are this incredible cosmic egg being dreamt into form. consciousness within you, dreaming up what matter looks like. Again, a collective dream. Without the collective dream, we wouldn't be able to be here to sync up in this beautiful space or follow the threads of the mythology and the stories that have been passed on to us in this moment in time, like Odin's, to allow us to understand our origins and our nature. The collective threads, since we all took the plunge, dove in and through the veil, that band of forgetfulness. So we may be here from our human perspective to exercise our free will, and from our starseed perspective to bring our light and our consciousness into form, to spiritualize and energize this world that we are dreaming in. And so from here, as you take your next breath in, breathing in all of the information and wisdom and knowledge that has been absorbed into your bones and your cells. Breathing it all in and exhaling it out. Imagining the stories and the lineage, both in your cells and your genetics and your DNA and your energetic and epigenetics, all of it, just breathing it all in. And like wind blowing through the trees, exhaling it all out. As you sit in this brilliant seat of consciousness, consciousness transforms into light, light into sound, sound, well, color's in there with light, light to color, color to sound, sound to geometry. Your room begins to take on some dimensionality. The geometries begin to form a tunnel that maybe looks black or dark at the other end from this room of light. Maybe it's swirling. All things swirl and twirl. Only time and the construct of time gives us a linear reality. And so as you feel this room shifting through this tunnel of creation, again, your consciousness creating, allowing you in your human form to envision this room in all white, and the room begins to shift as we call in the light and its colors. Notice if there's a color that begins to pull you down this tunnel that is forming in this dream space, in this creation space. The light, the colors, and the sound. Notice the sounds you hear as this tunnel begins to form with a little black dot far in the distance. What sound is emanating forth from those depths? Go ahead and allow yourself to be carried towards it. Be carried towards the depths as you begin to swirl down this tunnel that you've created, moving through the colors, through the dimensions, breathing, remembering to breathe. As the colors become darker, as you get closer and closer, spinning, spinning, spinning. Give yourself a moment to really embrace the spin, to come into the physical body, to get our mind and our energy synchronized with the nature, its qualifying nature, which is spinning, again, non-linear. Taking a moment as we call in Odin and Odin's story, carried into the depths of the darkness, the journey of the warrior, the blood that has been shed lifetime upon lifetime, the sacrifices, made, the love lost, all in honor of a greater force, a greater power, whether truth or misguided. Again, it's all from a space of perception. Breathing in and out, letting yourself spin down into the murky depths of the darkness, letting the light be released. Odin sacrificed an eye, an outer eye, to awaken the inner eye, the inner vision. And so as we move into the darkness, I invite you, as we begin to spin in the darkness, much like being in the closet, maybe with the lights off, or walking through the house in the middle of the night and just navigating, hands maybe out so you don't smack into a wall. But it's incredible how well we can actually navigate. Reaching now into the depths, as though you're walking to that room, some unknown place in the core of your home, using your inner vision to guide you. You find a thread. You find a thread, a rope, a cord, a line. And while you would like to imagine it full of light, maybe just as you grab it, you find the light, one hand over the other. You use it to help you pull yourself deeper. Continuing to breathe. Now, if we're in our human construct, it could be like an anchor line that we are following down to the depths of the ocean, into the darkness. But truly, everybody has come from their starseed. We've come from that imagined room of light. And so, in fact, we are following a thread of creation into the third dimensional reality through a different door, through a different portal. We're actually re-entering creation, as though we're ascending from the depths of the Kali Yuga, from the warrior space. Give yourself a moment, as though we're pulling ourselves from the depths of the ocean back up towards the sunlight. But don't be in a hurry. Breathe through this darkness. Trust in this darkness. Let yourself be held in this darkness, no matter how traumatic or painful it may be. For in this moment, we want to call forward your soul's warrior, its archetype, and all of the warriors of all of the lifetimes. Allowing your chest to breathe and expand. Allowing yourself to feel the warrior within you. Maybe some anger, some rage comes too. Again, there may not be a lot of emotion here either, because we're in a dimensional realm where emotions have different texture and context. It's our hormones that in our physical body that really trigger them. So it's more so a consciousness and an awareness. In all of the lifetimes and hurt that has been inflicted as we pull on this warrior's thread. Whether well-intended, misguided, it doesn't matter what the stories are, because we have been on all sides and held all sides. And with each swipe of the sword, we've left a piece of our soul behind. With each outburst or attempt to destruct for the sake of survival, to get back to the light, we've left a piece of our soul behind. And that soul is our own light that has been fragmented into these many, many different dimensional realms. And so the invitation here is for you to collect and for you to feel your connection with those souls in those lifetimes where damage, fragmentation, I don't even want to label it as damage, just fragmentation occurred. And in this moment, in this darkness, it's no longer about the ascension. It is truly about the honoring of the light in all those that we came into contact with, not only in this lifetime, in the ways in which you've been the warrior and wielded your words as your sword, but also in past. Seeing the light and the honoring. And again, I want to focus on the words here, not only in this lifetime, but in past, because you may not have killed or slaughtered. You may have been the one who was killed. Any weapons, so much magic in the words that have held us locked in to the depths, despair, and frequency, kept the matter, the density of our deeds separated from our mind and our ability to connect to our light. So as we call forward Odin here in this darkness, we remember that within the darkness is the light. Odin sacrificed his outer vision for that of his inner vision to see the light. And our reminder today is that it is through honoring the divinity in all of these journeys, honoring the divinity for the conquest, honoring what was lost for the achievement. And so before you, as each of you stand here amidst this awful scene of death and destruction deep within the realm of the Scorpio, beginning to see all those warriors, your warriors, and those you've battled against, bending a knee. And as you embody the light, the consciousness of good, consciousness of divinity that lives within all souls and all of creation, as the warrior from the 3D bends the knee, it's no longer about healing, but about recognizing this universal light that binds us all to this collective dream. For that is the gift we share. Feeling yourself being honored as this being of light, this angel of light in this moment. Allowing your vision to reveal to you in this realm. And before you, a symbol emerges, a gift, as you see and feel and sense Odin, now keeper of wisdom in the darkness, with his crows representing thought and memory, joining you, feeling those crows of thought and memory leaping from his shoulders to yours, and seeing a simple golden symbol that transforms into a symbol that is unique for you. Maybe it is one of the runes, where words are what have commanded the battles and the wars that the warriors fought. It is with words that the fight began. It is with memory and thought that was inappropriately, misguidedly, truth for one are not truths for another. It is the memory lost that we are all here as one light being sharing this collective dream. And so in this rune, as in this golden rune, symbolizing all of the words that have been spoken that have led to the mistruths and misperceptions and truths and reperceptions, that we find that unification of light, that collective memory. As you bring this rune to your heart, not needing to really see or know or understand, you feel yourself rising with the crows, the second stage of Scorpio to that of the eagle, ascending in light with all those around you, joining you in flight as your body, as the light within you recalibrates out of this dimensional realm, out of this collective dream where the warrior is perpetually fighting, and into the remembrance that we all come from the same thread. Finding yourself now pulling on this thread with all of these warriors at your back. And with it, together, we rise above the surface into the light. Collective dawning. And as we come into the light, we feel its heat, its intensity, the flames of the phoenix burning us as we emerge out of the density, releasing it from our souls, allowing the fires to purify the emotions and the hormones and the memories stored deep within ourselves, allowing us to remember that bone deep truth that you come from something more than just this exclusive moment in existence. Feeling yourself now being freed, the handcuffs released, the stones and the weights that held you in the depths, feeling your wings beginning to flap as you climb closer and closer and closer to that brilliant light, not only of the sun, but of the galactic center and core, thousands upon thousands, millions of suns burning brightly as one. Cohesive, coherent flame. And remembering as you fly like the phoenix that those suns and that light is merely a reflection of all of the light burning within you. As we inherit the dreams of our fathers and forefathers and mothers and sisters and daughters, of all of the warriors that have come to Bass, this is our moment to honor them for whatever reasons they fought their battles, knowing that they are you and you are them, that their light eternal burns within. And we may not need to know in the 3D in this moment exactly what to do with that, just knowing that as we hold this collective light within us, it is no longer collective, but it is the force and the power of unification, of the wisdom of how we can begin to impact and shift the threads of the fates, impact and shift destiny, impact and dream a collective thought structure that no longer is rooted in the warrior consciousness, honoring the warrior within each of us and the words spoken since their conception in the beginning of time, as we allow all of ourselves to melt into one, into the light, into our highest spiritual expression, until we allow ourselves to begin to re-envision a world of peace and light, of creation, where our dreams manifest in the moment, tomorrow's vision, alive today. Go ahead and lick your lips, relax your jaw, slowly making your way back into the room, into the moment. Knowing that today, through and with Odin on this journey, we were just guided through that spear upon which the masculine has fallen time and time again is there because our program of masculine is to take action. Instead of taking action from a fragmented space, today Odin reminds us that we get to take action from our infinite divine intelligence. Our feminine teaches us to hold it and to honor it. Our masculine teaches us to take subtle action. And so let our first action be that of the honoring of all that has come and all that is. Let us build a brighter tomorrow and today on the codes of this honoring, of this light, and of this love. And with that, I welcome you back. Happy creating, happy Pluto in Aquarius. May you rise like the phoenix in all that you do, bringing the much needed light and love to the world around you. Namaste, so much love.